Hello Thistledown Gang, welcome back to my channel if you've already been here, if not, hi. It's such a joy to have you here, please stay and by that I mean subscribe. Welcome to part 4 of the Music Box Miniseries, and I lied. Not on purpose though. This isn't the finale quite yet. I completely underestimated the amount of work that would have gone into this part if it were the last one, which is very much on brand with me and my projects. Anyhow, before we dive in, let's have a recap. I put the thing on a new base, painted the inside and outside, put another piece of paperboard on top, painted it some more, made this kitschy figurine look just as kitschy but make it tasteful, and painted her here to actually not look like flamingo leg anymore. Put some flowers and ribbons on the sides and bumblebees, and that brings us up to speed. But if this isn't the finale, you might ask now, what is it then? Well, the box doesn't only have an outside, but the inside as well, and that's what we'll have a look at today. In part 1 of this video. Part 2 is something different. First of all, I needed to make the best of this extremely cheap mirror. I happened to have this little frame in a craft hoard, because that's not a stash, it's a hoard, and removed the backing and hinge thingies. The back will reappear in a video someday, so subscribe, because all of the suspense, because that's how this works, right? I gave it a brush of antique gold to make it look more interesting and less plain, and a pure gold brush for a bit more shine. Sure, the mirror won't get better just because it's pretty now, but I don't quite intend to use it really anyway, so that's fine by me. Oh, look, for once you can see my nose instead of the top of my head, but don't worry, there will be hair in this video somewhere. While I was at it, I also put Odette back in after her makeover. She also got a layer of varnish to make her all shiny and protect her a tiny bit. It's somewhat annoying, but her head now bumps into the mirror frame each time I open or close the box, so I might have to touch up her hair at some point, but I'll live. We both live. Speaking of living, the next few videos might come out somewhat off schedule, if anyone even noticed the schedule. Anyway, because the Thistledown layer is moving. I'm super excited about having a new place to decorate and live in, and it's in a super lovely part of town, and I can't wait to tell you all about my ideas for it. But between packing up and living between boxes for a while and painting walls and trying to stay sane-ish, editing might have to take a backseat. But who knows, maybe I'll completely have my shit together in the spoons and you won't notice a thing. Anyway, I just wanted you to know. Back to the project. When I first painted the inside, I talked about the color reminding me of old-fashioned theatre night skies, and that's exactly what it's going to be once I'm done here. The stars are once again from the craft hoard. I squeezed some of the glue out and then dabbed it on with a toothpick. Turns out the solvent in the glue stripped off the gold layer from the stars, so I had to work carefully and quickly and without much margin for error, which is great for me, believe me. Once the star was stuck down, I couldn't move it lest the paint would come off. If you look really closely, you can see that the gold looks a bit different in some of the stars, which is where the glue had already affected it before I was done with it. I also put some on the bottom of the box like they'd fallen from the skies and now sparkle on down below. What can I say, I'm just really into stars and a dusty blue background. Or stars in general. But enough with the inside already. When I was about to put my hardware on the lid of the box for the grand finale, I discovered this one bit of chipping that really fucking bothered me. And at that point I felt like mixing the exact same paint color of the outside to match again was quite the impossible feat. So I decided to make it a virtue and just do something decoration-wise to cover it up. I added a gold edge and then measured the distance for sun rays, or sun spikes rather. I outlined them with the gold mixed with raw umber for a bit more dimension. Oh look, there's the footage of my head. You're welcome. It's a feature by now. I will, by the way, readily admit that I really enjoy watching myself paint in time-lapse. It's just so satisfying. Especially if you know how much time that actually took. For more dimension, and probably because I still had mixed up antique gold left over, I went and gave the sun spikes the unicorn horn treatment. I like doing that with suns. The best example is our living room ceiling light that I'll put a picture of in here somewhere. Well, it just makes the rays look more intentional, I want to say, and more dynamic and baroque and artsy. I knew I wasn't happy with a little platform staying plain like that when I tried it with a little rat figurine, so I first tried to use up all of my antique gold there, but A, it wasn't quite enough, and B, I didn't like the outcome. While that dried over, I gave the chair a bit of a somewhat lighter dry brush, completely forgot to put that in when I edited the figurine video apparently. And then, instead of waiting until everything was dry so I could just put a wash on it, I rather went in with a dark brown and a thin brush. And yeah, it's umber, you got me there, because all the dark brown I use is basically umber, for the shadows. Okay, back to the platform. I painted it dark brown as well, trying to blend it out towards the edges. Spoiler alert, it didn't quite work out as I imagined, but that doesn't really matter because I'm really pleased with the actual result. I first slightly sketched on floorboards and then used my hard pencil to basically emboss the lines into the cardboard. I carefully felt out how the grain should work and then also divided some of the boards up to give them a more rustic, cartoonish look. I always think floor planks have to look like that because, yeah, totally. Well, in reality they mostly don't. My main problem with drawing wood grain, by the way, is avoiding to fall into a pattern. It's very important to vary the width of the lines and the distance between that and things like that, and not draw the same wood knot over and over again to get a nice result. I experimented a little with washes to try and get the grain and the planks more dimensional. While the paint was still damp, I went back in with my pencil to retrace the grooves to reinforce them and then kept fidgeting with it until it looked somehow appropriate. To be honest, this is one of the major pitfalls of crafting and especially painting for me. I just don't have any chill when it comes to waiting. Screw having it dry and having it set. I just want to continue now. Oh wait, that's a strain on my sanity, you say, because I forget to eat and do chores and leave on time for work, as well as on my project, because the half-dried paint will mess up the paper, but I say never mind. I just want to continue now. I need to do this now. Anyway, in the end I accented the grain with some more darker shadows, and notice how I dotted on the nails before all the washing and stuff? This way they look appropriately aged and I don't have to do them separately. I also shaded the edges of the floorboards just to make them a bit less amorphous and because it looks nice and worn. Gosh, I'm really happy how this turned out. This is, I love it. Just, if I can say so myself, I think we should all give ourselves more praise for things we actually like. And while I continue giving this thing dimension and life, I thank you all so much for watching. As I mentioned, the fortnightly schedule that you might or might not have noticed that I usually try to have might be interrupted by the whole moving house affair. I don't know if it's noticeable in this voiceover, but there's also a construction site in my house, which means I have sounds that are not supposed to be in here, like right now somebody's sewing right over me. But I'm really looking forward to seeing you again whenever, hopefully soon, and maybe in a new place. Have a lovely time until then, and farewell.